politics and everything. I may be wrong. People may be interested in it, but then we don't post such. But there are features, there are reports that we post. Attempt has been made by AUB to make sure that we go further by improving the report we share. Instead of sharing package reports, we should share it in such a way that it looks like the one we consume from news agencies. Put in the rushes, put in the script, and then the sound bites and the names and everything. That is going to be very much better because it gives room for other consumers to use it the way they want to use it. But the situation is that it is also much more difficult to do that because like the content we get across, because we have reporters across length and breadth of Nigeria, they cover maybe in Lagos, they send us the reports. Getting the rushes and the other all the scripts need training. Maybe we need to have to train people on how to do that one, and then after training them on such, then we now require them to do, because if they have not given a person the tool to do the job, you cannot ask him to do the job. I would like to stop here for now, and maybe if I have another chance to speak later on, I'll add more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I must also then,
Vous l'aurez certainement, Monsieur Ali, parce que ce que vous venez de partager là est très intéressant, et surtout que vous vous adressez directement à vos pairs qui sont là. Et j'en
your
profite
peers here,
pour dire
and I would like to take this advantage to say that the auditors that they must also be consistent. As you said, now there are countries that I keep sharing, and then others are not sharing, and then also obviously a new person who comes because there's no consistency, and then they get lost. At the end of the day, we can see the population is not going forward, and I think it's an opportunity for our countries to sell themselves, to make themselves known by others, to show what they can do. What you have brought as a contribution is very excellent as a consumer and also obviously as a contributor of the platform. And to go straight to Madam Karine Mashelbi, who is the chief of the Center of Exchange of Content, who is also part of AUB Vision. I think she's prepared a presentation to show you some numbers, some content, and also the problem that the center is facing when it comes to general directors of TV channels here who are here, and try to see together how we can get to a better contribution of exchanges when it comes to the AUB Vision platform. Madam Shabli, you've got the floor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to speak about one of the most dynamic initiatives of AUB, which is AUB Vision Platform. As it has been said very well, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Maktara also mentioned, there was a time African media, they were consumers of foreign content. Even the news, African news, was treated by foreigners for Africans. So it was very important that we needed to find a solution, to find a space for African voices in all its diversity, to find a place to express themselves and also to share. So the idea came from there in order to create a platform to answer to that need. So the AUB Vision is a platform of AUB that was launched in 2018. Now, in that time, there wasn't yet a center of exchange in Alger. It was in Dakar with one or two people to supervise. But I think the launching of this platform was in September 2022 with the launching of activity of center of exchange in Alger, knowing that the team was strengthened by professional journalists coming from different African countries. So what we have is actually the cream of the journalists in Africa who have come to help us in the center of Alger in order to supervise that platform. So without any delay, I would like to go to the presentation of AUB Vision. So the AUB Vision. So AUB Vision is a platform that is not only a platform, but is a space, as I mentioned just now, for African voices in all its diversity to find a place to express themselves, to be heard and to share. And also it's the reflection of the cultural diversity of linguistic, of content, as well as different information. So we find information, we find sport, news, when it comes to science, culture, health, and environment. So this is an answer, AUB vision. It is a direct answer to the need of African channels that have a quick access to relevant content and of high quality and diversified. So the platform is hosted in the Center of Exchange in Alger, and is managed by a team, as I mentioned just now, of professional journalists and dynamic that are making sure on a daily basis on the reliability of every content that has been availed. So we have got a team at the center. So the AUB vision, besides African partners such as Africa 24, APOG Group, they also have partnership with African diaspora as APO Group, and also with international players to Asia Vision, ISB Cloud, ISB IR, and Ivory. So the contents that have been proposed by the platform are available currently in 4 languages: in English, in French, in Arabic, as well as in Portuguese. This linguistic diversity is very essential to make sure that every member country can benefit of the resources that are offered by the platform. So in this slide, we have just an overview of the gathering of the contribution and the countries that have contributed from the period June 2023 to June 2024. So the countries that contributed, it's 35, around 35 countries. Now, to answer a little bit to the question that was asked by Mr. Mohamed Ali, 35 countries, but not forcibly. These are countries that come now and again. An event obviously that happens in a country, people are now active, they post content, and then after the event we don't see them anymore. But we have censored 35 countries, but it's not that these are regular in their contribution. So these 35 countries have contributed more than 5,000 contents that have been exchanged. So here we've got a little bit of the different countries that have contributed. We've got Morocco with 841 contribution. Second position, Nigeria with 755 content. In third position, Africa 24 in third place, 596. And surprisingly, fourth position, CMG, Chinese partner with 540 content. Ghana is on fifth place with 413. And position number 6, Algeria with 321 contributions. So the most advanced, we've got some numbers out of the 5,000 contribution of this year. These are broken down as follows. We've got more than 4,273 contribution that comes from our members in Africa, around 822 that comes out of Africa, and 57 contribution that are coming from our independent correspondent. And out of the 5,000, we've got more or less 2,788 content that have been downloaded. So it means content that have been used by our country members. So this is a rate that represents 54% of content that are used. Although these numbers are at progression and improving according compared to other years, but I think we still have to improve. So I'm using this opportunity to encourage our members to use the content of AUB Vision in order to answer to the need of their programs. And so I can give you some examples. As you can see, these countries, Senegal with RTS and Algeria with Canal Algeria, which did not only use the content that were available on AUB Vision, but also they were able to add value and created magazines from these programs. So RTS Senegal, because of the programs and content from our platform, they were able to create a daily or a weekly magazine on Africa for 13 minutes, and also Canal Algeria, who created a monthly magazine concerning African news for 52 minutes. This is a testimony of the value that AB Vision brings to every member, but also to the entire Africa. This shows how AUB Vision can be a inspirational, and another key aspect for the success of AUB Vision is on the 45 focal points across public sector and public, and also 25 independent correspondents in the African continent. We are generally journalists, director of programs, and they are script writers, producers, and also reporters. And this is a crucial role to facilitate data collection of content and also create a connection between the AU vision as well as the reality on the ground. And during this year, the team of the center have also offered on the platform AUB Vision 17 magazines, TV shows, weekly Africa Zoom, 57 TV shows, monthly Africa Mike, and 21 media coverage, major media coverage, and I've also shared around 300 newsletters in order to inform our members of the content of the platform AUB Vision. So our vision for the future, in order to reply the question of Mr. Mohamed Ali, we are planning in short term to receive a new platform which is going to be more performing, have more functionalities, and I think at the end of my intervention we are going to show you the platform. So because some of them they were not able to come here, I think online is going to present the new platform, the options, additional options that they will have in the new platform in order to favorably answer to the needs of our members, because it's going to have functionalities integrated which are going to be more performing. So this is a short term. Normally this is going to be done before the end of this year, God willing. And in midterm, we are also trying to help make you benefit the information from our correspondent in order to strengthen the capacities. These are news that are going to be targeted. And in long term, we'd like to encourage the production of long production. So in conclusion, AUB Vision is more than a platform of content, but it represents a collective effort to show to the world the cultural wealth and diversity in Africa. And through this, we are reaffirming our commitment with the unity and cooperation with national African countries, and also TV and radio broadcasting. Dear member of African Union who are still thinking about joining us, we would like to ask you to please join us and use whatever that is put at your disposal. Only together we are be able to reinforce our broadcasting and also put Africa on an international landscape. Thank you very much.
Giselle, if you allow me to come in at this point, because the panelists and the speakers that have spoken this far have eloquently elaborated the value of exchange. And this is the value intra-Africa, except perhaps Madame Shelby has talked about the amount of contribution that comes adore Africa, outside of Africa. I want to perhaps face it to our only international entity on the panel to talk more about that. Yes, we have established from the speakers that have spoken the value of this exchange intra-Africa. We have talked about the Pan-Africanism ecosystem. We have talked about the opportunity of growing audiences in terms of interest of stories coming from beyond our countries. We have talked about Mr. Sila spoke about the identity, sharing more of stories that we can relate to as Africa. But I want to speak about exchange beyond Africa. If we could share what opportunities and perhaps what opportunities and what appetite or interest is in exchange beyond Africa.
Également que Monsieur Slav, qui est qui nous vient de
Mr. Slav, who comes from RT Africa.
can enrich us, our way of sharing. Ladies and messieurs.
Habari, ni hao, добрый день. Je crois avoir salué tout le monde. Avec la permission des...
With the permission of my French colleagues, I'm going to speak in English.
So dear colleagues, as has just been said, I represent RT, the African department, and we will introduce ourselves tomorrow as the new member briefly, but today I will focus not on what we are in general, but on what we produce, and I will try not to speak a lot. I will try to show more what we are doing for you to look for yourself and judge for yourself, and I promise there's going to be a very interesting announcement in the very end, so please don't quit. Okay. So what is RT? It's an international channel broadcasting in many languages and having millions of viewers across the globe. I won't stay long for that because it's general information. We've been awarded various awards in various parts of the world for news, documentaries, shows, etc. And to present ourselves, I will show you a promo that has been created by our promo department, especially to be published, for instance, in the Addis Ababa airport, so focused on the African public, and we chose Ethiopia just because it's one of the key aviation hubs, so we hope that most of African nations use it, and we wanted to be present and to introduce ourselves to the African public, so please have a look. I promise you to be brief, not to take much of your time. So I will now dive into each of aspects of our activities and each of types of contents that we are eager to share with our African partners. Keep in mind that, of course, we understand that it should be focused on the audience, So, our shows. So as you've just seen, we are trying to engage as hosts prominent figures of international level to offer their vision of the international politics or of other issues. And apart from that, of course, we have other types of shows, for instance, travel shows, interview shows, etc. But all this is something that has already been created previously, and that was focused rather on the general international audience. Our key focus as the African department was to create something focused specifically on Africa, because we want shows to be done for Africa, by Africans, and about Africa, not by ourselves, but to let Africans speak about themselves with the help of our technical teams. And so this month, just next week, we'll premiere 2 new shows focused on Africa that we will be eager and happy to share with any African media for free just after they are premiered on our platform. And the first of them is going to be the show of Professor Lumumba.
What is the state of the continent of Africa? How shall we interact with the rest of the world? Are we going to relate with the world in terms of donations or in terms of trade? Africa must define what she wants politically. Africa must define herself culturally. Africa must define herself spiritually because Africa has no choice but to move forward, and forward she will move.
That is an example of how we see a content for Africans by Africans themselves. We try to not to melt in the editorial side because we consider that it is up to African experts themselves to discuss African issues among Africans, right? So, and here is just an example of a brief description of topics that have already been covered. So these are already the episodes either in production or ready to show. These are not, of course, the names, just the general topics, and we'll show them one by one, one episode per week, and we consider that this is the way we should move forward. We should let and give the opportunities to prominent African speakers express themselves about African issues, and that is the way we'll go. The second new show we'll be presenting just in a week, and today is really the very first announcement. We specifically we're waiting for the AUB General Assembly to make this announcement of our new content. It has never been announced previously. The second item we are gonna issue is going to be a series of special reports or documentaries about everyday African life. Yeah, I will show a promo of just one of them. It is, in contrast to other videos, it is not going to be an overall video about the project. It is just one film, but for you to understand the nature of things we are doing. Again, it's an example of what we consider the best way to do as an international channel. We don't want to define for Africans what they shall be looking. We just want to show what Africans think about Africa and African issues. So it's going to be called Africa Within, and I invite you to look at the video.
Udereva matri ni job, kama job ya ofisi, kama job ya, ni kama HR. Mimi nilianza kama konkodi, nimepiga konkodi miaka kama 3. Nikiwa konkodi nikajipeleka shule, ndio sasa nikaingia kwa industry, nikarudi kupenda kama 3 sasa. Ukisikia mtu ni matatu unaona kama wewe sasa uko na roho mbaya. Mimi siwezi tetea mtu juu unapata kuna wenye hawezi fanya kitu kenye mimi nilidu. Juu unapata sasa ni kama tu kazi, ni saa nyingine unaweza ni kama job ya hand to mouth, unapata, lakini lazima uamuke ndio umange, usipoamuka utamanga. Sasa hii ndio masaa lunch. Hapa ndio si umanga kama madereva. Mambo ya gava tongegi sana, juu kila gava ikiingia inaingia na mambo yake. Unaelewa? So ile time nilikuwa tumebaniwa mambo ya graffiti kwa 3 na lightning na manini, ilikuwa ni time ya gava ya nani? Si Uhuru, ilikuwa ni gava ya Kibaki. Kukiwa na issue kama hiyo ya mafuta, ukisikia ati mafuta imeshoot.
Huyu jamaa ni mtu wetu, tunamtambua. Huyu jamaa ni role model kwetu, tumegrow tukimjua.
So I will be honest with you. I chose this one as the very first special report to be aired just because, well, it was my personal passion when I learned about this truly African phenomenon of matatu in Nairobi, of these painted buses. I've never seen it anywhere in the world, and we thought that it's going to be a great opportunity. But our teams are constantly looking for new topics in all the countries of Africa to show something really inherent to Africa, really African. So, and of course, when it's aired, we'll be happy to share with everyone. Then exclusive interviews, it might be something really classical, so I don't even need to introduce it. There will be just a promo with some examples, and since it was prepared for the international audience, I couldn't include at the time of preparing the promo all the African speakers we've had, but of course they are much more numerous than that are included in the promo. So let's go. moderator asked me to accelerate. I promised not to take much of your time, and I will just switch to the next one because documentaries also don't need to be introduced. So that's it. Well, as for the and now comes almost the end of the presentation. I guess it was the last video, and there are just some interesting items which I will pronounce, but without showing anything. So just showing the images. So first of all, as for news, we are offering recorded reports and live streams for all our partners, as you know. There is also an interesting feature which hasn't yet been used in Africa, although I would like it to be used by our African partners like it is done by our partners in other parts of the world. It is illustrated here by the example of, for instance, India, Vietnam, China, Indonesia. This is, of course, not the whole list. We are eager to offer our correspondents to do live streams for foreign channels. So if something happens in Russia or even elsewhere, because we have a web of correspondents all over the world, we are eager to offer the possibility to have a live stream again for free for any of our partners. And then, so the contacts. Well, if you wish, of course, we can share them later. And here comes the announce of the end of the presentation that I promised to make. The last two slides. As agreed with Grégoire Njaka when we were signing the memorandum of acceptance of our channel to the AUB, we discussed with Grégoire that it would be great to have a sort of workshop to share the experience of our journalists with African journalists. And to my regret, it has never been done previously by RT, and I was pushing for it, and finally it was approved. And so now we prepared a full course of more than 20 seminars in English and in French. We are starting with 2 languages. I was asking for more, but well, let's start even with 2. I wanted the African languages to be present there too, but let's start with this. And of course, it is going to be a workshop in the format that you know, and it's going to last from October 14th to November 8th. The participation is absolutely free. Any of the journalists of your channels can join online and get access to the lectures and seminars of our presenters, producers, correspondents, whatsoever. We'd be really very much happy to see as many African journalists joining as possible, since in an online format we have no limits. So please, everyone, join it. It's going to be really we're going to be really happy if it happens. And I'd like to thank you at that point.
Merci Sla pour cette riche.
Thank you very much for this contribution. I think we had 1 hour to talk to you about the exchange and also information and programs. We confirm that if maybe the managers of the time can allow, maybe we can quickly take 1 or 2 questions from the public or from the floor, if that we can do that. It's just
yes, the Director of Activities has indicated that we have passed the time, but I think it would be remiss if we don't take the discussion to our attending colleagues here. Is there? Yeah? How does he communicate? Sound?
Jina langu ni Ayubu Rioba.
I am from Tanzania. Yes.
Well, now we do.
And yet we are here talking about producing content for Africa by Africans and everything. And first of all, I commend all of you for your insightful presentations, sincerely speaking. Yet, in my sister Karima's presentation, there are 4 languages that I mentioned there. All of them are foreign, except probably Arabic. Although when you talk about Arab or Arabic, most people think about Dubai or, you know, such places. So Kiswahili is alarmingly absent there. And yet, right now, as I speak to you, Kiswahili is an official language for SADC, for African Union, and also in the United Nations, official. Even my friend from RT, he has all the languages there except Kiswahili, for example. You have even Serbia, is it Serbia? Yes, except Kiswahili. I'll give you a story, just one story, and then I'll ask you a question and end it there.
I have time.
Yes, I know, but if we don't discuss these issues, then it is meaningless to have these panels.
Yeah.
I have been at TBC, at the helm of TBC for 8 years. And people from our side come to TBC saying, we would like to give you this content, we would like you to give you this content. And I remember, I'll share with you just one experience. I told this person, if you want to give us your content, for us to air your content, then allow us to also give you our content so that you may broadcast in your own country. And do you know what he told me? I don't think our people will be interested. So I think these are issues we need to reflect here. My question, why are we talking about the need to have African content, African narratives prepared by Africans, number one. Number two, what makes us sure that if it's the Africans themselves preparing this content, it will definitely reflect the needs, aspirations, and what Africans really want. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Monsieur Silla?
Réponse. Pour la langue.
For the language, I agree totally. I think there are certain African languages that we need to utilize already at the level of SADC. I think in the past we also had learning English or learning German. Je crois que ça serait une très bonne chose. Maybe online courses for those languages so that others can also learn. And the second thing, in all the countries, I think even Nigeria, the French-speaking country, everywhere there is a local production of quality. All the audience says that people are actually watching everywhere. It means that our public needs, they need that local production. A Senegalese series now are bought by Netflix and all this big corporation. In Cote d'Ivoire is the same thing. Everywhere there is a quality local production. The public, they consume it. Today, all the external production, but it is a very small portion, not even 5%. And that is the barometer. Absolutely, we need to take that direction of production to great production. And where I'm right, I agree with you. You know, I like reciprocity. So even in the licenses that we give on our territories, to broadcast channels that are on our AFM or TNT local channels or international channels, who are the African channel that are at the FM channel in Paris? No, not even Africa number one. Which African channels are in America and elsewhere? We need reciprocity. If you want to broadcast in my country, I need to also broadcast in your country. If you don't do that, nothing will happen.
Pour répondre à votre question, monsieur.
Just to answer to your question, I want to tell you these are official languages of African countries, unfortunately. Arabic is spoken in all Northern Africa. English is all the southern countries, French and Portuguese. So it is not AUB who chose, but it is a reality that it has been imposed. It's an official language. In Botswana, there are local languages, but everybody can understand English. So you are totally right, but I just want to let you know that the platform, the AUB Vision, will exist. I think since September 2022. It's only 2 years old. There are still a lot of work to do. There's still potential to take advantage of. If we can do it and help our members. I think at the center, we are only supervising the platform. We are not responsible for the content. Now, if there is a strong need to introduce and integrate Swahili, I think it is the member state that must impose it by content with content. We are only there to manage, to answer to the need of our members. So it is not a decision of AUB. We are open, if possible, if we had the means. There are local languages, maybe in Northern Africa, they've got the local languages in every African country. I think it can be done, but with you, if you are ready to help us to prosper this platform with content in Swahili and for a public or an audience that speaks Swahili. So there is no concern. We can always do it. We are open. We are even ready. I think we discussed this with the General Director and also with our team. We even have a T-shirt where it's written the 5th language, which is Swahili. It's ready, but we need content. We need members that encourages us to do it, because it is a platform which is done by the members and for the members. So there's no concern. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you. I just wanted to say just one thing for us to understand on this debate about language. It is more than 10 years ago that the AUB adopted Kiswahili as one of its working languages. Okay. For the realities of operationality of the exchange program, Kiswahili is not yet part of the exchange. For those of you who have been following the exchange, it started off without Portuguese. Portuguese came on board, and therefore, there's no doubt that Kiswahili is going to come. Thank you.
Okay, I thank you. But
merci infiniment. On ne va pas abuser de votre patience.
So we are not going to abuse your patience because I think we had all your attention. Thank you very much to my co-presenter from the Botswana television who moderated very well this panel together with me. Thank you, dear guest. Thank you, dear colleague. And I hope that together we have found answered in this panel.
To thank my co-facilitator and thank our panel and Mr. Ali, and thank yourselves for your patience. But perhaps as our subject was content exchange, let me leave you with an issue that was raised by the Director of Broadcasting Services of Botswana, is how we are putting forward the realization of these rights to this content. As food for thought that I will leave with you there is a very important, maybe subject for another day. Let me thank all of you, and let's give a round of applause to our panel. Thank you. Shall we release?
Dumelang, and welcome to Botswana Kabula. Botswana, the essence of stability. We invite you to explore the spirit of strength and witness its profound impact on our people and the world. Our doors are always open for business in a safe, secure, peaceful, and thriving environment. This peace and tranquility allows our people to express themselves freely, fostering a society of diverse ideas and opinions. Our people are ready and waiting to host you with beaming smiles and enchanting song and dance. Driven by our rich history and cultural heritage, we are proud to share our stories with the world. Every narrative, every challenge, every effort, whether good or bad, shapes our collective identity. The beautiful, colorful, and alluring landscapes of Botswana welcome you. In this stable and majestic atmosphere, we safeguard our natural resources, preserving some of the world's most unique physical features. The sheer harmony between our people and nature is a testament to the sustainability and balance we strive to maintain for future generations. Come and meet the right business partners and investors to diversify and expand. Set up your investment in Botswana and leverage on Botswana's proximity to the wider Southern African market. Our interconnected road, rail networks, coupled with bespoke infrastructural developments, make it easy for you to open shop, network, and trade in Botswana. These serve our economy and benefit our citizens positively, fueling economic growth and social progress. It is through reliable, stable governance and steadfast vision that we transform all our aspirations into tangible achievements. In a quest to make our country conducive for meetings, conferencing, and multi-sectoral tourism hub, we are more than ready to welcome the world